Well, hello and good day. My name is Miss Ellie Blair White, and we have some very critical issues to go over this morning. So please bear with me, and I want you to go to the internet and you look these things up, and you call your governors and your senators and your congressmen, and you put pressure on them to get to the bottom of things that are very serious that are happening, which are also in our End Times Prophecy book. Here it is right here. Revelations, a commentary to aid in the understanding of end times prophecy. Look that up under author Egar, E-G-A-R White, with createspace.com. And the direct link to get you there is createspace.com/607-3810. What we're discussing today is that there are guillotines on American soil right now, ready for use against American citizens. Now, if you remember, we uncovered a video made by Obama where there was supposed to be a massive Black Lives Matter riot, and they were going to round up all the people in the country and send them into 600 waiting FEMA camps and 250 or 275 waiting, used to be Walmarts created for this purpose, sorting stations for those FEMA camps. Now, my least favorite military at the moment is the Army. Sorry, boys, but you folded first, and so we're taking it out on your shoulders, or where the head used to be. Because at bases in Florida, Georgia, Texas, Montana, Alaska, and, ding, 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 wait for the answer here, Germany. Okay, remember that little wedding night, love affair, honeymoon thing going on between Merkel and Obama? Well, I don't know what he gave her, but she agreed to allow him to put 15,000 guillotines on her base, as well as on numerous other military bases. Some of them are city warehouses at little out-of-the-way podunk airports. Might want to go check those warehouses, people, wherever you live out in the country. You are not safe from this. And also, the very first candidate who accepted this mission was the Army in the bases that I mentioned, and by now could be Army bases in every single state in the U.S. So get on your representatives and find out what the heck is going on. 15,000 guillotines in each one of these places. Now, they're ramping up, but those are going to become eminently used very, very soon. And the indications are already right in front of our face on the news. Because guess what? We haven't heard about executions and capital punishment and crimes for people that have been on death row in like 20 years. And all of a sudden, you have a company that made a sedating drug complaining that their drug is being used in an overabundance dosage to not just sedate a person, but to cause them to kind of go into an unconsciousness like your anesthesiologist might do. And in the third stage, it causes the stoppage of your heart and your lungs from functioning. So it goes through 3 stages, and in about 45 minutes or so, you're dead. But in some of these botched executions, the man is gasping, convulsing, throwing himself against the chest straps, drowning and gurgling on his own saliva in horrible and excruciating pain. And they're inviting reporters and things to come in and view the executions, and this is what they're subjected to. The worst torture that's ever been filmed on man. Why? Because they want the mainstream media to get it out to all the people that drug, maybe because it's getting older and the expiration date is like in 2 weeks, so they had to kill the last 8 guys on death row down in Arkansas, and now Florida is pushing the same agenda. Why are they pushing all these executions that they know are going to be botched? and that they know people have appeals filed on, and that they know the general population has been filing to get rid of executions altogether, when they know that 1 in every 25 is a perfectly innocent person, and they're being subjected to not just death, but torture. The Bible says only God can give life and only God can take life away. So if you have to keep them in prison forever and ever, and they learn to read and write and make a column where they're saving 100 people in another country, their very soul for all eternity, then that to me is worth it. And you got to get rid of all these low-level drug crimes where people are selling a joint or stealing a loaf of bread in order to support their families who are hungry, starving, and out of work. You can't be shutting down schools, their only hope, and building privatized prisons. Because once you're in that jail or that prison, and you like hear a noise and you look up or look over, you have now violated a prison law, and guess what? You get 30 days added onto your time. So basically, when a poor black person goes into those places, you ain't never going to see them again. Okay? And when I tried to expose that 20,000 homes were stolen in Wisconsin, 98% belong to blacks and Hispanics. And out of those other 2%, you got it. They took 39 places and properties from my family for punishing us for trying to save our family farm. And when that ended up being in the taking, for continuing to fight to expose what was happening wrongfully to all these other people. So as they threw me into a solitary cell in my underwear and no shoes and no medications and did not read me my rights or serve me with a warrant or anything, and I had no idea why I was there, I was thrown into a solitary cell for 23 days. I finally got access to a Bible, and I'm reading the story of Paul and Silas and things, and I get to the 2 places where they were in jail, and the angels came and shook open the jail and walked them out and all that. And all of a sudden, the jails are shaking the one day, and all the doors opened. You could hear clang, 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 go through all the men's and women's prisons, and all the doors unlocked. And the second time I sat down and I read that same story, it happened again. So I closed my Bible, stood up, put it on my arm, and stood by the door waiting. I said, God, I don't want to walk out and get shot or charged with escaping or anything, so I'll just wait here until you send that same angel to come and get me and walk me out. And I'm standing there by the door waiting. And the son of the chief jailer that ran the whole complex came in running, and he was shaking. And he's like, stop doing that. Stop doing that. They were so scared. They thought that God was going to, the roads were getting hot and melting tires. They thought that God was going to make this giant volcano explode and destroy the whole state for keeping a righteous person in jail. And this pure joy came up in me. And I just started bubbling and laughing, and my hair and my skin and everything was just glowing like this bronze color and this light emanating. And I had just such extreme joy in me. It was like God put that in there just to, to make me not be afraid and to further show them by my appearance even changing that God was very upset at them for doing such a wrongful act against me. So, back to our subject, if you can please get this book and read what's going on line by line and verse by verse, what's happening today, you'll understand some of the things that are happening in America. But in 10 of 2015, we got a hold of a recording where Obama had made a commercial. He's long gone in his little secret village underground, right? And it says, Russia just bombed Zone 3 and, all of, I think it was New Hampshire, is completely obliterated, and I'm going to bring on George Bush and Bill Clinton to be co-rulers with me during this difficult time. And the roads are all taken out, and nobody can get to anybody, but the American people are strong. So hang on for a couple more days, and we'll get you to these sorting stations, and they'll have food and medicine and tell you what to do and where to go. Well, we took those videos, and we made 5 or 6 of them because the man who originally supplied me with that information was killed. And the information disappeared, And somebody got a hold of his material and gave it back to me again. And so I made it into 5 or 6 different videos, and I sent it to every single congressman, every single senator, every single governor, and a man that I knew to be a part of the deep state control. And I said, well, you said you were going to get rid of Obama. Now what? You got plans right here. You got recordings right here made of both Obama and Miss HC saying we're going to do martial law. And the Secret Service is saying, well, why are you going to do martial law? Are we really going to do that? And she said, well, yes, of course. Why are we going to do that? Because then we can stay in power for as long as we want to. That's what she said on her recording that we have. And we didn't send that one to everyone because basically everybody was in fear for their life because the election was like 2 weeks away. But we did send the Obama one to everything. And what we got back through the deep state people was that they basically took a bunch of people and walked into the Oval Office. Okay, they are in control. They walked into the Oval Office and they said, you are not going to do this, which meant the FEMA camps and martial law at that time. And they said, on this date, you will be leaving office one way or another. And so nobody knows this, but you're welcome. We saved America from millions of people being killed. But, excuse me, those guillotines are still on all those bases. And the military tends to lose money sometimes, like $1.3 million a couple of times. It got spent on hookers and clubs and a couple things in different cities. But they never waste a penny. It was a really good hooker in D.C., okay? $1.3 million. So I hope she's on a little island somewhere, and hopefully it's not the one adjacent to, you know, the Clinton family friend that was convicted. But that's another story. Anyway, so those guillotines still exist. 15,000 on each one of those bases, and probably 100 or 2 more since then. All right? So, what are we going to do with them? And we know that we want to depopulate the world and destabilize the Middle East and take the governments over in 8 different countries and in Ukraine and Arabic countries and Yemen. And oh my God, we haven't even started on North Africa yet. Can you imagine the assets that are there just waiting to be raped and pillaged? So we need to get rid of a few people because they're just in the way. It takes far too much time, money, and weapons to bomb 10 towns in a row, where if all the people were dead, there'd be nobody there, and we could just walk on through. So, here's the kicker. All those botched executions that are on the news lately are not botched. They're being screwed up on purpose. There's a man in Florida who has been on medication because the system, you know, you see a little child bouncing around. Oh my God, he must have something wrong with him. It's like ADHD or something. Why is he so energetic? Well, maybe because he needs recess and to get out of that stroller and to get off of that leash and to eat vegetables and meat and potatoes instead of candy and chips and soda, which is a whole nother story, flavored with the cells of aborted fetuses. Thank you, Poopsie. And so they could put the guy on drugs. And eventually the guy got into a very frenzied argument with a neighbor and he killed him and he's on death row. He's been on medication which sedates him for, 30 years? 40 years? Okay? And they want to give him a sedating drug and see if giving the same dose they gave everybody else is going to kill him or not. And his lawyers are arguing that it's going to cause severe trauma and pain and all these systems freaking out and torture, and it's not going to kill him. But they're going to do it that way. The plans are in the works to do that anyway. Because the more botched executions you have, the greater the cry against him, and then they'll go, I know, we can just chop their heads off, and then you know they're dead. And hey, we don't want to waste 25 cents on a bullet. So let's just do executions. Look what's in this cabinet over here. 15,000 guillotines ready for use. Only most of the crimes are going to be for not taking the microchip, the mark of the beast, which is going to be the new monetary system when paper fails. And the way the T administration is going on, it'll be sooner than a lot of us thought, probably. So, as soon as you don't take the beast, the chip, and worship this giant image they're going to make that's going to talk and do all kinds of this weird AI shit, right? Only it won't be AI, it'll be demons. You're going to go through Walmart line number 2. The first line is you're already on the government's map because you make videos like this one and you're scared to witness to your neighbors about God or whatever, but they know that you're a troublemaker at the local church because you're always standing up and going, amen, and all this. Okay, you're already on a list, and as they march down the street, they're just going to pop this house and pop that house, and you're never even going to know it started. So you need to make sure that secret sin is out of your life and you're repented now. The people that they want to torture for, making videos and books and things, or the people that they think they might actually be able to make an example out of or re-educate to follow their way and agree to accept the mark in their hand or in their forehead, those people are category number 2. Now, believe it or not, there's a category number 3. And those are the people that have drank in so much Kool-Aid, in quotation marks, from watching mainstream media that they'll believe anything the government tells them. Okay, so if this happens on a Friday afternoon, and the street sweeper goes by on Sunday morning, and they just hear this little noise, and they go back to sleep, and they think it's just people going their way to church, and all the blood is kind of wiped up. They'll get up on Monday morning and head to the office and never have a clue that it even happened. Okay? So if you think you might survive and be in the, one of the categories that survives, or that they accidentally miss your house or something, you might want to stock up on like 55 gallons of water per person, because those beans, those bags of little beans that you stashed in a beanbag chair, they actually require water for cooking. So does those bags of those hard grains of rice. That's why they stopped it being allowed to be used at weddings, because it was choking birds. So you need water for cooking, for cleaning, for getting the dirt out of your wounds, and all that kind of thing. You need to stock up, a tad for that. But if you're afraid to come forward and make videos and make books and tell people what's going to happen, the Bible says if you're afraid and you try to save your own life, you will lose eternal life. You must do what you can to save every human being you come in contact to. When that lady in front of you yells, price check, bingo! Get out that little pamphlet and start witnessing to the person in front of you in line, the person in back of you in line. It's Friday afternoon, and you're in a line that's going to take an hour to get up and cash your paycheck. You be witnessing loud enough that the people 2 people up and 2 people back can hear you. You witness to every person that your life touches, because your life touches the life of another person so that you can save their eternal soul. And if when you hear of someone standing there rotting and dead and worms going in and out of them while they're still alive, and they're standing in this lake of fire and they have no communication and they're perpetually alone, solitary for all eternity in this burning, stinking mess, would you want your worst enemy to be there? Or would you want to convert him like Paul was converted from Saul and became the founder of our faith, writing book after book to encourage other Christians with? Beaten, dragged out, stoned, imprisoned. Paul never stopped. And I'll guarantee you when he walks through that gate, he won't need no introduction from St. Peter. God will be there to take him in his arms and to hug him and hold him and give him the most beautiful, spiritual body of the whole universe, and awards unmentionable for all the things that he did for every single human being around him when he changed his ways, repented, turned around 180 degrees and went in the opposite direction. He never picked up that cigarette again. He never picked up that bottle of beer again. He never kept beating and berating the woman next door ever again. He changed. And you can't hold back that one little sin, because you know what sin represents? Worshipping the devil. And you can only have one master. You must either worship God or Satan. And if you don't do everything in your power, sell that extra car and give the money to someone who's willing to lay down in a jungle on a blanket like I did, and the whole village said, oh my gosh, everyone must listen to her words because God protected her, and that 50-foot anaconda snake didn't eat her. And that big giant black panther that was ripping monkeys apart in pieces as they were screaming didn't touch her. If you just go, sell whatever couch you've got or anything else, and go and tell someone else about Jesus. And if you won't or can't, then give the money to someone who will, who can walk down into that jungle with a box of 700 New Testaments with the words of Jesus put in red so that they can start at an easy level and increase their reading and their studying until they're ready to eat of the steak of God. And there's places in the Bible where it says, you know, Paul comes back, this one comes back, and they're looking at this village that they witnessed to, and they said, my gosh, you guys are still on milk. Why aren't you on the steak of the word? Why aren't you studying and reading and preaching? Don't be afraid that someone's going to put you in jail. If you get put in jail, you witness to those 10 people that are there. When they put me in that solitary cell, they finally allowed me to go to a Bible study. And there's a whole group of 25 ladies around this table, and this lady looks at me and she goes, you look familiar. Who are you? Why are you here? I said, my name is Ellie, and I don't know why I'm here. They just stuck me in a solitary, and nobody has talked to me yet in 3 weeks. And the lady says, well, you know, how did you get here? What's going on? And who are you? Again. And I said, well, I came to you a year ago, and I asked to come in with you and do the prison ministry so that I could teach the ladies about Jesus and how he loves them and how he's going to save their soul. And you told me you wanted another lady to come in who didn't want to because you know she's very easily controllable and you can make her do whatever she wanted. And you looked at me and you said, go home and pray about it. If God wants you here, he'll find a way to get you here. And I said, I guess he did. The ladies ran out. And they had to find somebody else to lead the Bible study instead. And the next week. And these ladies walked in and they said, we don't know anything about all this. We don't know anything about the Bible. We're just from the church. We agreed we'd come down and help with these ladies for a time. And they have all these questions ready for us. And we don't know how to answer them. And they're saying they know that the end times are here and that Jesus is coming back. And what do they do to be saved? And they're locked away in this jail. Are they going to get forced to put a microchip in them or something? And they didn't have any answers. And I said, I've been working all week. And I'm going to read these verses and these passages. And they wrote as fast as they could, everybody in that room, all of the ladies and the 2 ladies that had come from the church. And I cited the reference and read the verse. And cited the reference and read the verse. And these ladies that probably were locked in there for the rest of their life all had the way of salvation given to them. Because the lady that had been coming in was reading cute little books to them and had no answers for how to become a Christian. So no matter where you're at, even if they grab you in the middle of the night and hold a gun and crawl over your little baby girl while they're doing it, you go to that prison and you say, God, I'm here taking care of your children. Please take care of mine. And God will take care of you. Because to punish me for doing that, they gave my daughter a created, man-made environmental cancer. And she's fighting for her life and probably never will have a normal life. You know, I mean, she got straight A's since she was 4 years old, but she'll never go to college. And she endured many painful cancer treatments. So please say prayers for the people that are under persecution. And if you're not under persecution, then your job is praying for the people that are, because we desperately need your prayers. So please write me at buffalostudy@yahoo.com, or if you can help with this ministry, paypal.me/buffalostudy@yahoo.com. Thank you so very, very much, and we desperately need your prayers. Thank you. You can also get a hold of me at P.O. Box 31, Big Bear Lake, and my name is Miss Ellie Blair White. Thank you so much, and God bless you all. And remember, God will wipe away all our tears in the final day. Thank you.